Good morning, everybody. We are back. We are back. The show is called TBR SSF Show, which simply means TBR Solution Sports Forum. It is myself, the Saubrey Boyz Wale Fatse. I'm joined by a Man City man, Peter Stirrup. And let me apologize in advance. Peter seems to be having a problem with network, so that is why you can't see his pic. So he doesn't hide himself. Don't just conclude say Peter has decided to hide himself. Pete, welcome to the show and greet the viewers.
Morning, Jess. Morning, Sobri.
Pete, we know that we have a lot in terms of World Cup qualifier. We are playing Benin tonight.
6 o'clock.
Yeah, and then we need 3 points, and then so this is a must win. Let's win this one so that we relax. Just like Hugo Bros was saying, Nigeria will do us a favor. They'll beat these other teams, then we move on. So we need to beat Benin, and then make sure that we don't have too much pressure when we are going to face Nigeria, because we still have to beat Nigeria for the sake of pride. And then
Sure.
and then I don't know whether you want to say something about that. Just a bit. Bafana, they look good. They look good. Mufokeng is on
So,
song and so
yeah.
on. Although the coach
Well,
says he won't play him for when he plays the strong teams. I don't know whether I agree with that
uh,
sentiment, but he's a coach. He has decided, and he has proven us wrong at some point. I don't know. What's your take, Pete?
I think you pay your best players when they're available all the time. That's my view on that one. I mean, he also wants to play in the top games. It's not a
Mm,
case of top players want to play top games. Yeah. But
mm,
we will watch with interest tonight against Benin, and maybe on the European front there, England had two good wins over the last weekend.
mm,
They
mm,
beat, and
mm,
I think it was Andorra 2-0,
mm,
and Latvia last night. No, it was 3-0. Yeah, so they're top of their group
mm,
now,
mm,
which I think, if I remember correctly, is, let me see. I think it's Group C.
mhm,
Let me just check quickly.
mm, mm,
Um, yeah, Group K. Sorry.
mm,
So they
mm,
played two with 6 points, so the maximum there, followed by Denmark in second spot there with 3 points, if I remember right. Yeah,
mm, mm,
yeah. And also this weekend, maybe of consideration is the FA Cup quarterfinals. Eh?
Okay, we'll talk
So
about
maybe
that
that's
one.
something we can touch on that one as well. Yeah.
We'll talk about that one. I want
So
us,
yes,
yeah, yes,
previous result for Bafana obviously was 2-0 against Lesotho there, and as you said rightly, that
mhm,
Mofokeng, who seems to be on form at the moment, scored one of those goals, and Jaden Adams the second one. So
mm, mm,
comfortable win there. So we'll see what happens tonight.
mm. He says he
That's
was
in uh, that's in Cote d'Ivoire, no? That's
pardon?
being played in Cote d'Ivoire.
Yeah, it plays in Cote d'Ivoire. Yeah, and Saddam is there. He told me that he'll be getting there. He's getting out of
Wow.
the country to Cote d'Ivoire, and then yeah. So good luck for him. And then
Yes.
he's always there supporting Bafana Bafana. They're doing well. And then yeah, we are rallying behind. He says Hugo Bros is protecting Mofokeng. Do you agree?
Protect him against what?
He says when he lose it, then people will make noise, and then that will affect his morale. I don't know whether you agree. I personally don't agree.
No.
I think the
He's
boys
a
should.
big boy. Yeah. He's a big boy. He can play. Let him play. He must take the criticism as well
Yeah,
if it comes his way.
yeah. Look, he is 20 or 21, and Lamine Yamal is 18. So how do you balance the two here? Lamine Yamal is playing game in, game out, and then he's also playing in the cup finals. Do you understand? So when you
Yes.
say you protect him, like you are asking Pete, correctly so, against what? Because the more you play, the more your confidence goes high. But I like the boy is down to earth. Seems not to be a player who's not complaining. He's a very good player to have. And I say big up to his parents. They've done a good job. Respect goes a long way. Goes a long way. And then, yeah, you know, you respect your elders. You respect your work. Respecting your work is to do what you are supposed to do. And then, yeah, you respect nature. You respect life itself by making sure that you live a very good life, and that's it. That's my opinion, and you'll be rewarded in the long term. So, well, but on the other hand, I've learned to respect this coach. This coach has proven us wrong many times. Okay, but I think on this one he got it wrong. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to my,
Maybe he knows some.
yeah,
Maybe he knows something we don't know.
yeah, but I'm entitled to my opinion.
Yeah, sure.
After the game that I saw, you know, the goal that he scored, the second one. No, that was the first one. Did you see how calm the boy was? He never rushed. It shows the maturity, the level of maturity at his age. So for me, let the boy go there and enjoy. Any player enjoys playing, eh? There's no player who wants to be on
Sure.
the bench. Why are you training
Yeah,
if you are going to be
sure.
on the bench? Well, but like you say, maybe he knows something that we don't know. But here, I think he is not right. That's my opinion. But Pete, today what I want to discuss, finally, the agent for Saleh came out. Remember, I've been saying about this thing. If you don't get the news, what are we going to do? All right? We need to get the news. We need to get the news. If you don't get the news, and there's nothing that we can tell the supporters. Let me explain this thing. These teams, yes, they have their owners, which is good. And then they have the players now who are now national heroes, okay? I think the public out there, they have sort of an entitlement that we own these players. You understand?
Yeah,
So
sure.
because they support them, they go to the stadium, you know, and then they fill up the stadium, filling up the stadium, and then that increase the level of football and the branding, and they make money. So the fans out there, they want to know what's happening. That's my opinion. They want to know what's happening. Pirates fans want to know, and those who are not Pirates fans, they also want to know what's happening with
Sure.
the player. I'm
Sure.
sure Chiefs are interested. They want to buy the player. So Chief fans having a keen interest of what's happening. So if we don't get the news, it leaves us with speculation, and which is not
Absolutely.
correct. Which is not correct. It should not be speculation. Give us the news because we'll speculate and end up speculating wrongly. And then the wrong
Correct.
perception will prevail out there, which is not correct. So that's the information that I want to share to say whether the club bosses or the fans they feel that no, this thing should not be discussed. Let's discuss this. No, it's wrong. We need to know. We need to know what's happening. All right. So that and remember, us in the media, we are sharing what we get. All right. And then for knowledge is important. So that when people decide based on knowledge. The good news about this one, Muna Pule Saleng's legal, I mean, he's a agent, whom apparently is a lawyer by profession. Mpho Nkontlha of Nkontlha Attorneys, all right, wrote on the kickoff website herself, which is good because we wanted either we get the information from Pirates or we get the information from her, okay? Because the player, I can imagine, he does not understand all those technicalities, okay?
Sure.
So both, she said, this is the Nkontlha in the website of kickoff. And funny enough, it was on the 21st of March. I don't know why did I miss it, but here we are. But there's no something lost. It's still there. He says an option. Oh, remember, Pirates had an option of extending the contract, okay, for Saleh. And then remember, Saleh's contract is ending next year. So now, where he is now, he's allowed to sign a pre-contract with anybody now at this position. So now, the agent said an option. I'm reading from I'm quoting from Kickoff magazine. An option is a common law clause that is inserted in a contract by a football club in order to safeguard its interest. In other words, the club's interest. Okay. So both FIFA statutes and regulation on status and transfer of players are silent on the application and interpretation of an option to renew. In the absence of legal certainty, football clubs would insert an option to renew a clause that only grants them a unilateral right to exercise extension without new negotiation. Nkontlha continues to say, there is a saying, an option is for the club. All right? This statement seems to be, now I'm quoting Kickoff. This statement seems to be at odds with public policy as it takes away the rights of consultant. In other words, her, she's also talking for her rights, this lady, as a consultant. Take the right of consultation, okay? In practice, an option is actually an additional contract that becomes effective upon expiry of an initial or the main contract. The contracts are extricably linked and fully essentially or terms of the current contract and option are negotiated at the same time. So now, if the contract is being opted out, so in other words, this lady, what she's challenging, she says the contract is being inserted. Once it's being inserted, and then because FIFA, they don't have a legal interpretation of how to interpret this. So now it gives the teams a unilateral right to extend the contract without even consulting the player or the agent. What's your take about that, Peter?
Well, in the absence of guidelines, the only option that's available really is what is written in the contract. Yeah. So depending on what was signed at the original, in the original contract, it will give you the option, terms and conditions. We're not privy to that contract, but you say basically that he can start to negotiate because basically his contract's up next year. So
it's expiring next year.
You don't wait for the contract to expire before you either negotiate an extended term, or you go out looking, for a different club. I think that was the same with Kyle Walker, if I'm not mistaken. His term was up, or a team can actually waive that option and can actually let the player go by mutual agreement.
Yeah, by mutual agreement.
Contractually, yeah. So I'm not sure what's happening in the background there with Saleng. It will be interesting to know, and it would be nice to actually get a club response to that.
Yeah.
To
this allegation.
Comment.
Yeah. Now she says this. She says this lady, both FIFA statutes and regulation on status and transfer of players are silent on application and interpretation of the option to renew. Yeah. It's a very huge statement, that one. Okay. Now, then she says, in the absence of legal certainty, football clubs would insert an option to renew clause that only grants them unilateral right to exercise extension without negotiations. That's where the crux of the matter is.
Yeah.
So
the players, it's a bit one-sided.
Yeah, that's what she's arguing. What's the point of negotiation? And then remember this lady.
Well,
she's speaking for her right.
There's no negotiation. Yeah, sure. There's no negotiation.
Yeah, she's speaking for her right.
Yes, please. The club can. the club can extend without negotiation. That's what she's saying.
Yeah, it says.
And
yeah,
and we know that he's not happy at the moment, one way or the other. So either they need to fix that, or maybe this could be one of those Kyle Walker options, where they through negotiation come to a mutual agreement on that. It depends what he signed, Saubrey. It depends on. I mean, look, like you say, his agent's a lawyer, so she should know. She should.
And remember, the lawyer too, the agent, she's also speaking for her right. Saleng is a client, is also a client to Pirates. So she's speaking for her right. My commission, I'm doing service. I'm not robbing the boy. And she's a FIFA accredited agent. So it's not like she's just a fly by night. If it was under the normal circumstances, I would say maybe the matter will go to court. The court gives a final interpretation. But you and I know very well that FIFA does not want their things to go to court.
Sure.
All right. So
do you think FIFA would intervene? Should I say not interfere?
In this case, the way this lady says, there's no legal certainty.
Yeah.
So I think this dispute will force FIFA to review their statute.
They should.
And remember, when you are designing a law, you're not sure, it's not perfect.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a living document, it's a living act. It goes on, and as being challenged, then you give it a new interpretation and so on. So I'm sure.
It's challenged by case law, isn't it? So, for example, if this did somehow go to the courts in some way, albeit in the background, then a judgment would be made, and that judgment would somehow affect the way that the regulation is written. We'll have to see this one, but the sooner the better from my perspective, because you got a talent sitting on a bench there now, or not even turning up for training. He's still not coming for training, is he?
No. According to rumors that I pick up, this one not from this lady, unconfirmed rumor, they say the boy is training alone. They say there's no truth that he's training with Pirates. Well, as I say, it's a rumor. So that's why we need to get information either from the team, the agent, so that we talk facts. We don't talk speculation, because speculation will create problem for us. So that's what is happening. Okay. So we are told that he's not training with the team anymore. And then, I hope this thing is resolved, because Saleng is a young man, and then I think he's 27 or so, and he's not getting younger, he's getting older.
Sure.
And then looking at the situation that his parents were saying, they're depending on him for life to happen. So I think sanity should prevail. I hope, this is my hope, I hope the agent and the Pirates leadership, this time Dr. Ivan Koza himself, they engage in negotiations, okay? And say, let's resolve this. Let's look at the interests of everybody. The interest of the player, the interest of the team, the interest of the agent, the interest of the supporters, the interest of the sponsors, the interest of the league. Do you understand? That's my opinion. They must sit down,
100%,
talk and say, okay, how do we bypass this impasse? How do we resolve it? Do you understand? Remember, there were offers from overseas. Those offers are not on the table anymore.
Well, they can't affect those offers. That's why. So
no, they are not on
such time as at such time as it's legally concluded. Other clubs are not going to come knocking on the door, because the door's going to be slammed in their face. So it has to be fixed. It's not good for the game.
It has to be fixed. And then all leadership, all people involved, they must sit down around the table and then discuss this thing. Thanks to Saleng's agent to come out and give the news on this. Go Pirates will also share some light. But even if they don't share some light, maybe can we hear the news that hey, the parties are meeting for negotiations?
Well, that would already be good news.
That will be good news. That will be good news. We are not interested. We are not trying to protect Salem. We are not trying to protect pirates. We don't want to protect anyone. We want to say,
well, players as a whole.
Yeah.
Players as a whole, because this won't be the first, or maybe it is the first, but it's certainly not going to be the last one if they don't resolve this issue.
Yeah, I fully agree. We'll see. Let's see. Hopefully they will hear and then they will consider going to the table, all of them, discuss this matter once and for all, resolve it. I trust Dr. Ivan Koza is a leader. They must prove their leadership now to say, I'm the leader. As a leader, I take lead. Let me have everybody on the table. Let's discuss this matter. Let's resolve it for the interest of everybody. I've shown everybody has interest. So that's it. Don't kill us. We are just sharing the news. We are not fighting.
Yeah, sure.
Hugo Bros. And then, no, Coach Rivero. There is a rumor that his contract is. I've also seen on Kickoff magazine, his assistant Ngazi and some players, Kogi and so on, they are pleading with him. Your Hoto to say, please, man, renew the contract. And then remember, the guy has done well. He has won trophies for Pirates. He's currently at number 2 in the log. He has beaten Mamelodi Sundowns. Remember, teams are struggling to beat Mamelodi Sundowns. He has already beaten Mamelodi Sundowns. And then he's giving them challenge, So it would be nice for him to stay. But also, we picked up the news. He says, no, he's homesick. He wants to be close to the family. Take it. What would you say if you are to advise Rivero, or what to say? Pete?
Well, the man's homesick. You got me, Saubrey? Can you hear me?
No, I can hear you. I hear.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you quite well.
Okay.
I can hear you well.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I thought you lost me for the moment, this signal of ours. So, yeah, look, if the man's homesick, you can plead with him to stay with the job, but, will his mind be on the job if they don't resolve that homesickness feeling? Yeah. I don't know how you resolve that, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, home is home. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting one to see how that pans out. But, yeah. I think in a way, your mental happiness, or your life is split into two. You've got your personal life and you've got your work life. And no doubt, from a work life perspective, he's doing a great job there. But your personal life, when you close that laptop or whatever it is you do, and you go home and it's not happy there, your life's not complete. So you've got to have that. You've got to have that balance.
I would approach it this way. I would say Paris should explore the avenue of negotiating with him. They say, we bring your family here. I'm sure you've got Spanish schools.
That's possible. Yeah, it's possible. But now we don't know whether his family wants to come
that's
to
another thing. Whether the family wants, and that might also increase the costs. But it will depend what parents want. Do they want him to? I would do that if let's say the family agrees to that suggestion.
Sure.
But that would be my approach, and say, bring the family here for the next 3 years, and then if there's kids are at school, let's take them to a school there. I'm sure there's Spanish
get it sorted.
And then the matter.
That would be first prize. That would be first prize.
I would go that way. I would go that way. Unless the family says, you know what, we are happy in Spain. We want to go the new country and stuff like that. So yeah, that's another story. Let's move on quickly. Qualifiers. You're saying we need to look at is it FA or which cup?
The FA Cup, yeah.
Yeah.
this weekend.
Yeah. Let's look at that.
Well, let's have a look to see what I
Or do you
have
want to
notes
look
there.
at the qualifier? Who's qualifying now in Europe? Who's struggling to qualify?
No, we can. I think we can. I think we can just touch on the FA Cup if that's okay, because the games are this weekend.
Okay, let's do
So we
FA.
got it's FA Cup quarterfinals. So the games that we have scheduled for this weekend, I don't want to tell you the the wrong information here. So we have the lineup is Fulham versus Crystal Palace. I see that going to Fulham there because they're very difficult to beat at home.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, there's two really good games that are coming up that it's very difficult to actually determine who's likely to come out there the winner. And the first one is Brighton versus Nottingham Forest.
Mm-hmm.
Brighton being at home, very difficult to beat, but Forest obviously in third spot now in the league. Um, I still think I would tend to look at Forest as taking that one through. Then you've got a Preston North End, which is a team I think they're in the Championship if I'm not mistaken there, which is the old Division 2 or the division below the EPL, and they're at home to Aston Villa. Now on paper, that's obviously an Aston Villa win, but as you know, in cup competitions, anything goes. The expectation is for Preston to be beaten, but that's not always the way it goes. We saw that basically with Plymouth Argyle versus Liverpool. And then last but not least, which is of interest to me, Bournemouth versus Man City.
Your team.
Yeah. So obviously, City are somehow favourites to win the FA Cup, but as you know, Bournemouth have been playing some really, really good football. So we will see. We will see. It will be interesting. What's your take on that one?
Well, I'm saying sentiments here. Pep is under duress.
Yes.
I want his spirit to be lifted. It would be nice for him to win this cup, to be honest.
Well, it's the only trophy that they can win now, so
Yeah,
we
I'm
will
saying
see.
if he wins the cup, which simply means I want him to win this week and continue. Because I think he needs to be lifted up. And I'm told that Messi phoned him and then encouraged him to say, you know what, I'm sorry about what I heard, but that's life. It happens in life. And so it was good. We know that he loves Messi so much. And then I remember, who's that?
Nearly as much as you as Saubrey.
Pardon?
Nearly as much as you.
You're saying?
Love. Yeah, I said he loves Messi, Pep.
He
I said
loves
nearly as much as you.
as much as me, of course. So this guy was saying, he's a player. He said, this guy loves Messi. No doubt about him. Well, he's loyal, they are good friends and loyal. So maybe we should learn something. You need to be loyal to your friend.
Oh yeah.
Just like Alex Ferguson is loyal to Ronaldo, very loyal. You need to be loyal to your friend. But that's it. I wish them win. Pete, I don't know whether there's anything that you'd like to touch on before I share the books.
We can have a quick look at the upcoming PSL fixtures. Sundowns are taking a break by the looks of it now, getting over their loss to Pirates. They're only playing on the 18th of April, I think, their next PSL game. Pirates obviously in second place on 43 behind Sundowns 58, so still mathematically possible for them to take it. They're playing Royal AM. And then Chiefs in 8th spot on 29 points. They're playing Lamontville on the 10th. Strange season for Chiefs. Obviously, their title aspirations have gone there because basically,
mm,
29 points, and they've
mm,
got 8 games to play. So even maximum points would only take them on to, my mathematics is correct.
mm,
What we're looking at, 8, 3, 24. Yeah, that would put them on 53 points. So yeah, let's see those games being played this weekend.
Yeah, let's wish them good luck, whoever wins. That would be nice,
Sure.
so that we see. It would be nice to,
Yeah,
you
see a
know,
resurgence from
yeah, I was wishing
the
Paris to
G side.
win. I'm still wishing Paris to win, but I see it very difficult. There were so
Yeah.
many games. Well, even
Well,
Sundowns
it's
win, that would be nice. For me, it
15
doesn't
points
matter.
difference.
Mm, mm,
15 points difference. The 4 games to catch up there.
mm,
Even maximum points, it's going to leave them 3
mm,
points adrift of joint level with them. So
mm.
let's see.
Okay. But good luck. If Sundowns win, because I want to motivate them for the Club World Cup, but I wanted Paris to break that monopoly of Sundowns winning the league. They will take it for the 8th time. But
Mm,
let the best team win, and then we'll take it from there. Pete,
sure.
the only thing that I can talk about, we are a financial company. Those who wants to be mentored in terms of finance and business, just approach us. You'll see the WhatsApp number at the end, and drop us a WhatsApp. We'll therefore call you back. Pete, thank you so much for availing yourself. I know it's
Thanks, Aubrey.
difficult to wake up and do the show, but much appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thanks to the listeners.
Okay, thank you. Listeners out there and viewers, thank you so much. And please continue to subscribe and then comment. We want to grow. And then so that at the end of the day, we give you a better product. Much appreciated. Let's hear your opinion. Want Pirates,
Yes.
Saleng, everybody involved to sit down and finalize this thing. So what's your opinion? Just tell us what
Let's
you
hear it.
think. Yeah. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Hi, everyone. My name is the Saubrey Boyz Wale Fatse from TBR Solutions, which is a financial company. Here I'm representing TBR Financial Services, an authorized financial service provider. I'm currently talking to the members of GPF, especially those who are contemplating to either resign or retire sometime this year. Now, I want to bring some information to your attention, which is very, very crucial because it will have an impact on your money or the final money that you get. GPF has what we call the actuarial interest factor. Okay, so these factors, they are being factored in terms of your calculation. It is done every 2 years. The last one that was done in June 2022. So now, if you look now, we are in 2025, which means the 2 years has already lapsed. So the chances are the factor will be factored again this year in June. So if probably you are thinking of leaving in terms of resignation or early retirement or retiring, but you want to transfer your money from GPF to an independent fund. Like for instance, we are working with GPF, and then we transfer the money from GPF to Allen Gray. Now, if that is the case, now let me tell you what happened. I had a discussion with a colleague of mine from Allen Gray, and then she was telling me that a client in 2022 was leaving, and then a client had about 8 million as a resignation amount. And then in 2022, when they factored in that actuarial interest factors, then her money went up to 5.2 million. So you can imagine the money that has been affected there is 2.8 million. That's a huge amount, okay? But those will remain with GPF. There's no problem. It will never affect you. It affects especially those who are transferring. But transferring also has its own benefit. You may say, no, I'm not prepared now to transfer. It has its own benefit. Because when you transfer, there are some benefits that you get that you may not get when you are with GPF. All right? Now, for instance, I'll give you an example. The resignation amount of this example that I've put on the screen here, it's 6.8 million. So that person that they were telling me about was 8.8 million. So after the factor was factored, it went to 5.2 million. 2.8 million was affected. Now, if you want to avoid that, to make sure that your money is not going to be affected, and then you may do it as soon as now before June, so that you start the process of either resigning or early retirement. All right, so that you're not affected, especially if you're not going to transfer. Now, let me give you the importance of transfer or the benefits of transfer. Now, remember GPF talks about 5-year guarantee benefit, all right? In other words, your money, it's a 5-year guarantee. For 5 years will be guaranteed there will be any, whatever that will be any. For instance, if you look at this example, right on top there, this is the amount 49,000 that the member will earn every month. The lump sum is 2.1 million. But I don't want to talk about all those for now. Just wanted to talk about the actuarial interest factor. If you want more, you can simply contact us, then we can deal with the situation. And we'll deal with the situation looking at your own specific situation. So now, if, like I said, if you really want to leave, you can leave as early before June so that when they factors in, your money is not affected. Now, the good about the transferring, this is the statement of GPF. This person had 6.8 million and then in the kitty. But in case, remember I said it's a 5-year guaranteed. One day after 5 years, you pass, the condition changes. Now it says the resignation amount is 6.8. In case of death in service, if you die, the amount that the person will get is 4.9. No more 6.8. Can you see that? That's the difference. 4.9 instead of 6.8. So, but when you transfer, instead of getting 4.9, even if you passed on, your nominated people, be biological or not biological, as long as they were nominated by you, they will still benefit whatever remains from 6.8. So the chances they can also get 6.8 as compared to 4.9. So that's the benefit of transferring, all right? You are able to leave what you call a legacy. So now, if you are thinking of leaving as we speak now, and then either in a form of resignation or early retirement, especially those who are 55 years and above, and then remember that the actuarial interest factor will be factored in June. So you may start now preparing yourself to exit now so that you are not affected. So where you can reach us, our WhatsApp number is 067 915 1447. 067 915 1447. Or else you'll see the number at the end of the video. I thank you.